I get my strength to succeed in my belief in God, and also my belief in what I always wanted to do, which is make my mom and dad happy. To reach a Hall of Fame, you cannot do it by yourself. You've got to have good people. Go after people that have a good heart, people that care. People just really don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. My name is Mike Nowell, and I'm the president of the Nowell Agency.
Mike was always energetic. There was never a lazy bone in him. He came home and told me, "Oh, I think I'm going to get a job at Zurich Insurance Company."
I started out in the insurance business when I was 14 years old. I went to work for Zurich Insurance Company as the mail boy. I would have to get up every day and open up about 5 or 6 very large sacks of mail and read the mail, give it to the right person, and worked about 40 or 50 hours a week at 90 cents an hour. So I've come a long way since then. I was working for a national broker at the time in 1984 that wanted me to move to Atlanta. They had closed their operation here, and I just did not really want to move. And my daughter, Shannon, was born. She's the first granddaughter my parents had. So I decided then and there to open up my own agency.
1985, me and the agency were born. I can remember him taking me with him on sales calls. It was just part of my life. He started this from nothing. It was just him. So I got to really watch that. I got to grow with the agency.
Today we have 7 locations scattered across Mississippi. We have about 60 employees. We have locations strategically located throughout the state of Mississippi so that we can serve every corner of the state.
What everybody should know about Mike Nowell is that he runs a top-notch sales organization. It's one of the best ones I've ever worked with. They have that customer service deal at the forefront of everything they do, that if you're doing business with Mike Nowell, you're getting some of the best service, knowledge, and insight in our entire industry.
Mike is a visionary. I'd consider him a visionary. He has developed a unique sales culture in the agency. He only will hire someone and keep them if they align with the culture that he's built. In turn, he's got a lot of people who've stayed and are loyal to the agency as well.
He's cutting edge. He's looking down the road around the curve and trying to get ahead of what's coming before it gets here. That's what makes us thrive, because a lot of times we're doing things, maybe a couple years ahead of the rest of our competition, because Mike just has that vision.
I think we've got to find some way to marry technology with personal relationships. And we're doing that right now. We have opened up an internet sales department in our company called the Business Insurance Center, and we started doing internet marketing, and today we're selling small commercial all across the United States. It continues to grow, and right now we're putting on about 70 to 80 new accounts every month. Getting into the Hall of Fame was a goal I had from the early part of my career with Nationwide. I'd meet these guys who had been inducted in the Hall of Fame. They were just great men, great women. They'd take time to talk to you. They'd take time to tell you things that they were doing that were successful. And I always thought if I could ever get in that group, I'd be okay,
As a child, I would go with my dad on these president conferences, and we would watch these Hall of Fame videos. And I always knew that one day we would be shooting the video for him. He's had the drive, he's had the determination, and I'm so proud that he has finally reached this goal.
Mike, congratulations. I couldn't be happier for you.
Mike, I'd like to congratulate you on achieving the highest honor at Nationwide.
Michael, I'm so happy that you've reached this status, Hall of Fame. Wow, you've worked so hard for it, and I'm just so proud of you.
Congratulations, Pappy. We love you.
Please welcome to the stage Mike Nowell and Sherry McDonald.
Oh, Blackwater, keep on rolling. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me? Oh, Blackwater, keep on rolling. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me? Oh, Blackwater, keep on rolling. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me? Keep on shining your light, gonna make everything gonna make everything alright.
Thank y'all so much. Good morning. It's true, when I was 14 years old, I got a job working at a branch office of Zurich Insurance Company. I was the mail boy. I did earn a minimum wage, which was 90 cents an hour. That's right, when I worked 40 hours a week at 90 cents an hour, my weekly pay before taxes was a whopping $36. But back then, everything went through the mailroom. The information flow always traveled in and out of the mailroom. Agents sent in paper applications through the mailroom. Applications go to underwriting, over to rating, then to coding, back to underwriting, then back out as quotes through the mailroom. The best thing I ever did was I started reading the mail. I had to make sure it got where it was supposed to go. But to a young mail boy, my boss was the meanest woman in the world. She made me learn all the company functions, know the key personnel and what they did, and understand the workflow. Her name was Myrna Geiger, and she scared me to death. When I made a mistake, she'd cuss me like a sailor. But I'm really grateful for what she did because she taught me to be thorough and precise. To this very day, it's made me very careful when reading any insurance correspondence. I still open the mail at our home office every day, and I guess you could say I'm just still a glorified mail boy. One day I saw a declarations page come in which showed a policy premium of $400,000. It also clearly stated that the agency earned a 10% commission. I did the math, and to earn that sum of money, it would take over 20 years of 40-hour weeks working as a mail boy. It might have been the first moment, the very instant that it occurred to me that insurance agent might be a great job and I could earn a good living. But it wasn't just the money. I liked insurance and I understood it. I took a sort of pride in doing something that was difficult. It felt good when I'd get it right. During my high school and college years, in addition to the mailroom, I spent time in the filing area. I learned how to rate commercial auto, worked in the forms room. I read them until I understood them, and then one day they made me the forms manager. I was so proud. No raise, but the title sounded fantastic. I know that a lot of people go to college with no idea what they might want to do in the way of a career. And as I was studying for my business degree, I found myself continually imagining the inner workings of insurance offices and, pondering the insurance industry itself. Maybe this was something I liked and was good at. Since I'd already risen from mail boy to forms manager, the sky was the limit. But during that time, I began to realize that everything I saw had insurance coverage on it. Every vehicle, every acre of land, every building, every real property improvement, every home, every life, every business. Literally everything worth anything was worth insuring. It was as though everything had an invisible insurance premium value on it, just waiting for an agent to come along and take the order and protect the customer. After graduating college, my first experience in the insurance profession was in sales at an agency owned by one of the people I'd met at Zurich. Then I worked for a large national broker. I liked the work, but I wanted to own my own agency. So I began my relationship with Nationwide Insurance in 1985. This long-term partnership offered me the best of both worlds. The nearly exclusive relationship with a great insurance carrier on the rise and the independence of owning my own agency corporation. It was so hard getting this new agency off the ground and running. I remember working many days from 6 a.m. till midnight. I'll never forget those early years battling to stay one step ahead of that wolf. I had a wife, 2 children, a mortgage, and mind-boggling business expenses. I really had nothing to fall back on, no security except my own ability to perform. If I had anything going for me, it was simply this. My attitude was there was no premium too small for me to not bother to go out and get, but there was no premium too big for me either. Some agent was going to insure that large commercial risk. Well, not me. What happened thereafter and until now is all kind of a blur. My staff has always said that I'm a future-oriented person, someone who plans ahead and moves resources ahead of the curve. Time goes so fast that it really can blur the past. I do know that over the years since 1985, we must have written a lot of insurance, so I would not be standing here right now. But there are a few things that I've learned and can share, and there's some ideas that have stuck with me. I've been guided by a few basics to learn about success, which have kept me going over the years. And one of them is something different about insurance sales success than most people are taught, most people think, probably different than most young people are taught. Success I found to be is not really about who you know. It's much more about what you know and what you're willing to learn. Being who I was and where I'm from, I really didn't know anybody. What I did have were good examples of hard work, faith, and drive to succeed in my family. I come from very simple and hardworking people. I must thank my parents, Bill and Bonnie Nowell, who both enjoyed lifelong sales careers. My mother's 90 years old, and she still works every day. And I'm sure she sold something today. I learned so much from her about loving people, the importance of family, and being passionate about your beliefs. My mother set sales records every year for her telephone company career. My father was passionate about his integrity. He was the kind of man who could be trusted with the keys wherever he worked. He was the kind of man that you wanted to make the bank deposits. He always kept his word. Later in life, my mother and father made quite a dynamic duo in their home-based sales business. She made the sales, and he made sure the checks got into the bank. As a very young boy, I can remember going with my grandmother, Alma Pilgrim, on her door-to-door sales route. I saw firsthand and learned from her how to always stay productive and how to be passionate about earning an honorable living. She had a third-grade education, but owned more rental houses, made more money in her self-made sales business, and was more successful than anyone in our family or anyone I personally knew. Years later, I remember when I had a major success when I just sold a large commercial account. It was 1987, and she was 94 years old and on her deathbed. They said she might have had a stroke or might even be in a coma. But I wanted to believe that she could still hear me. So I went in her room and I told her about the big sale because I knew how proud she would be of me. I told her that I had a down payment check of $50,000 in my hand from a sale with a premium of $285,000. Just then, without even opening her eyes, she kind of growled, and suddenly her old, feeble, arthritic hand started moving towards me. She slowly unfurled her fingers and held her hand out to me for her share of the commissions. It's true. It's true. She died 3 days later. I think of her most every day. My family gave me something else that has truly helped me to endure. They raised me to understand that life is uncontrollable. Life, like the insurance business, is not risk removal, it's merely risk management. Storms, both literal and personal, will hit every life, not if, but when. They can strike at any time with significant force. However, if you'll look for it, with every adversity will always come an equal or greater opportunity. Stumbling blocks can become stepping stones. Your attitude is sometimes the only thing you can do to you can really control. There have been so many other successes I can remember, such as our decision to develop a specialty in agribusiness and petroleum marketing in the early 90s. We worked with Farmland, which would later become Nationwide Agribusiness Insurance Company, as they officially came to Mississippi in 1994. I remember when Nationwide asked agencies for more storefronts. We responded by opening offices all over Mississippi to increase the size of our footprint, to expand our brand recognition, and to better serve our customers statewide. I remember our first of many agency acquisitions as consolidation in our industry resulted in smaller agencies giving way to larger, growing ones like ours. And I remember when the internet came along, a whole new way of doing business. We welcomed digital delivery as a growth source, just as valid and organic as our organic production and acquisition-based growth. We developed an overall web strategy, and as a result, last year we opened a digital agency within our brick-and-mortar agency called the Business Insurance Center, a small business call center that writes commercial insurance in all 50 states. There have been difficult times as well. I have had failures. I was possibly over-focused on my idea of success. Or perhaps I would just define success differently now than I did as a younger man. I've been called a workaholic and a perfectionist by almost everyone who knows me. The passion that drives you can have a downside. You can sometimes steamroll over the fragile. Your emotional energy can make you say things you regret. You can single-mindedly pursue business and damage personal relationships. You can have great victories in one area of life while unintentionally neglect other areas of life, resulting in great and painful failure. With all that said, I sincerely believe that you learn more from adversity than from success. Failure is a better teacher. You'll naturally attempt to mitigate losses and try to limit their reach and scope. However, it's good to remember to take inventory, strengthen the things that remain. Consider your own responsibility of what has happened and make the changes you can and roll with the ones you can. Yes, you can get back up and fight. You may even come to enjoy the battle again. I found a tremendous amount of inspiration that has carried me onward in life's journey and in my career. I thank God for my life and for being from where I'm from, a place with churches on seemingly every corner. Those churches remind me that a relationship with the Lord is as simple as other personal relationships. It just takes a daily conversation and a weekly visit. I thank Him for the family I was born into. I talked to my father every day until he went to heaven in 2004. I believe I'll see him again. I still talk to my mother every day and see her almost as often. But I want to thank God for His providence. Thank my family for their love and support. Thank you, Nationwide, and your vast number of professionals. Congratulations to my fellow inductees. Thanks for your great speeches and stories. Thank you to everyone who has ever worked with me or for me. Thank you to my friends, my church, and I definitely want to thank my fiancée, Sherry Renee. She has restored to me a great hope for the future when I needed it most. I also want to recognize my daughter, Shannon, her husband, Brad, and my awesome grandchildren, Reagan and Landon, who are here with us today. My grandchildren are a great blessing and give me a new purpose in life, to have fun. It's all been a remarkable journey. It's my understanding that I'm the first inductee from the state of Mississippi. There's so much inspiration all around us in Mississippi. I think of Elvis Presley, born in a two-room shack in Tupelo, Mississippi, and rising to a level of stardom unheard of and moving up to Graceland. I think of Brett Favre from Kill, Mississippi, Walter Payton from Columbia, Mississippi, and Jerry Rice from Crenshaw, Mississippi, who all three remind us that you can be the best in the world at what you do, and no matter where your story begins. I think of B.B. King from Indianola, Mississippi, who wanted to make his living playing a guitar instead of driving a tractor. And I think of Oprah Winfrey from Kosciuszko, Mississippi, and I see clearly that if you think you're limited in any way by geographics or demographics, by your gender, birthplace, class, or race, then you're deceiving yourself, which is far more limiting than anything the world can do to stop you. But in conclusion, there is one more inspiration that Mississippi has given me. We are all neighbors and survivors together. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina, the largest natural disaster in the history of the United States, still hit our state and our lives at Category 5. We talk about insurance being an intangible. We recognize that we sell a promise, not a product. I did not ask for this, but right in the middle of my career, the things we talk about when selling insurance, well, they actually happened to the people and the businesses that I had sold insurance to in the most real and tangible way. It was a humbling and fearful moment. I'll never forget it. It changed me. The nationwide response to Katrina was as impressive as it was unprecedented. And as I stand before you today, I can honestly say that every one of my nationwide customers was made whole, bar none and without exception. And that was a tall order. But it's truly been my honor to have worked with and served alongside an insurance company that shows it values the promises that it makes by keeping them. Thank you for helping me keep the promises I made on your behalf nationwide. I honor you as you honor these inductees. Thank you and God bless you.
Roll that water, keep on rolling. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on? Roll that water, keep on rolling. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining?
please come on up to the stage. Congratulations, Mike. Terry Laufer will be presenting Mike's jacket. So, Terry, present the jacket. Congratulations, Mike Nowell.